Last weekend was another chapter in the annals of deathmatch wrestling history with ICW No Holds Barred, NHB 23, and the return of the cage with Pit Fighter X10. The insane and violent shows were highlighted by two intergender matches on the PFX 10 card. The opening match was the Violent Date Night, the Deathmatch Samurai Akira versus Russian Dynamite Masha Slamovich. These two violent cuties are a couple in real life and made no effort to hide their excitement for this upcoming match on social media. Masha Slamovich is a fast-rising star in the pro wrestling scene. She has appeared all over the United States in the past couple years, including at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, Camp Leapfrog, GCW, and of late Impact Wrestling. Her hard striking and grappling style has also translated well into the deathmatch world, appearing in the Pit Fighter cage against Kimberly last June in a highly regarded fight. She was also the first title defense of Reed Bentley during his reign as American Deathmatch Champion and brought the heat in the no-ring environment. Akira's own wrestling style mirrors his better half, a hybrid wrestler that is not only a technical wrestling and submission whiz, but a deathmatch warrior who's proven his toughness time and time again. He won the 2020 Master of Pain tournament, and his name is starting to gain widespread respect, even with Jon Moxley wearing his merch on a recent AEW program. Akira has also been a reliable opener for the past few ICW No Holds Barred shows, and starting them off with an emphatic bang. The decision to open this card with the match turned out to be a great call by Danny DeMonto, as it got the Chattanooga crowd going from minute one.
He's got a tall can ahead of him because he's going to have to step to somebody that he is more than familiar with. But when the switch turns on, Masha Slamovich goes for blood. You want to talk about buzz? Here we go. On social media, everybody's speculating. Yeah. These two competing against each other, the ramifications. Oh, brother. Listen to the action.
This is a firefight from the start, with both Masha and Akira trading submission attacks and stiff strikes. Masha gains the early upper hand with a rear naked choke that included a Tyson-esque ear-biting and ends with a brutal cage smash. But Masha gives the shots as well as she takes them from Akira as she slams her into a TV and then transitions this into a crossface. Masha draws first blood by gusset plating Akira, who simply returns the favor with a gusset plating of his own. He then proceeds to carve her up with a knife. Just when everyone thinks it's vicious enough, Akira pulls out a fucking sawzall. They both pay homage to Brain Damage versus Jon Moxley from CZW. Commentary and audience members are visibly and audibly shocked by the level of violence and viciousness on display. Masha brings the action back into the cage with a spring off the cage headlock takeover.
What the fuck? She looks like a legitimate action movie star. Drop kicks running up the cage, unlike anything I've ever seen.
She proceeds to drop Akira with a disgusting gonzo bomb onto a TV for a close 2 count. The pair proceed to trade rapid-fire Kawada kicks to the face and engage in a forearm battle. Masha hits an assault driver through a door for another 2. Both refuse to stay down or quit from the unrelenting violence. Akira cinches in the Akira lock with a knife in his girlfriend's mouth for added measures. But not to be outdone and refusing to submit, Masha grabs a roll of barbed wire and forces it into Akira's mouth. This forces Akira to submit, but Masha also taps out at the same time, leading the referee to declare the contest a draw. The fans immediately chant loudly for a rematch. I have a feeling we'll be seeing those two fight again in the future. The couple bow to each other and kiss to the wild applause of the fans. The other intergender match that evening was the co-main event. Many fans were excited for this fight to go down, and was easily the most eagerly anticipated fight of the night. This fight was billed as Casey Kirk's sweet deathmatch fantasy, as it had been her goal for time to fight the Duke John Wayne Murdoch. While relatively new to the game, starting in 2017, Casey Kirk has carved a reputation as being the toughest woman in pro wrestling. A controversial statement, I know, but fucking fight me. She has competed in numerous death matches in CZW, and in 2021 competed in both IWA Mid-South's Queen of the Death matches and the Double Dutch Death Tag Team Tournament with her husband, the Steve Carino doppelganger, Brandon Kirk. Despite this experience, she has been on the receiving end of some brutal shots in ICW No Holds Barred lately, thanks to the Kirk's actions, but Casey has always proved that she is ready to square up with anyone of any size or gender. Or as Ron Nemi says,
that is the tiniest, most violent wrestler in ICW No Holds Barred.
John Wayne Murdoch is, simply put, the best deathmatch wrestler in North America and potentially the world. He reigned all of 2021 as the American Deathmatch Champion, defending the title 15 times in that year alone. He also competed in more matches than any other U.S. indie wrestler in 2021 with 136 matches. A vast majority of those were death matches. Compare that to Roman Reigns, who in 2021 had 61 matches total as a champion. The Duke was the subject of a recent documentary on IWTV, which was met with high praise and acclaim from the indie wrestling community. It also put further spotlight on the Duke and his work, and garnered him even more love and respect. In spite of the Duke's respect and love, Casey Kirk was the loud crowd favorite on this night in Tennessee. Given a hero's welcome, she sent her husband to the back, indicating that she didn't need anybody but herself to fight the Duke. This decision seemed unwise as the Duke took over control of the match early on. The Duke carved Casey Kirk up with a knife.
Let me see what you have!
No! But Casey refused to quit and butchered Murdoch's arm with a gusset plate bat. She then hits a tornado DDT onto a knife board for a 2 count, but in doing so, it forced the Duke to push off the knives to kick out. John Wayne Murdoch is stunned by the fury of Casey's attacks and retreats out of the cage to gather himself. He manages to get the upper hand by using the sawzall that was used earlier. Despite this, the crowd is firmly behind Casey Kirk. The Duke sets up 2 tables on the outside and tells Casey Kirk to... But even after going through 2 tables to the concrete, Casey refuses to quit and engages in a headbutt battle with the Duke. She then hits one of the coolest moves of the night, a flying head scissors takeover through the cage door for a close 2 count. Even after all of this, the Duke gains the upper hand again and sets up 2 tables inside the cage. At this point, Brandon Kirk has seen enough and attempts to throw in the towel to end the fight. But a bloodied Casey waves him off and tells him that she has this shit. She then proceeds to slam the Duke through a chair, but this doesn't keep John down. The Duke brainbusters Casey Kirk off the cage through 2 tables, a move that in the past the Duke has put away many a tough customers with. But Casey Kirk kicks out at 2 and visibly stuns the Duke. You can actually see the disbelief and uncertainty of what to do next etched all over his face. Before he can further contemplate that, though, Casey Kirk rolls him up in a small package for a surprising 3 count to thunderous cheers. John Wayne immediately hugs her warmly after the match, showing Casey the respect she rightfully deserves. Both of these fights elevated not only the competitors, but the event and the intergender wrestling genre as a whole. The parallels between both matches needs to be remarked upon. Both highlighted each competitor's wrestling abilities by placing them against opponents of similar styles, with Masha and Akira's deathmatch/technical wrestling hybrid styles, and John Wayne Murdoch and Casey Kirk deathmatch sadism. Both fights required the competitors to push that psychotic and badass determination to not quit and match each other's energy to the bitter end. Both fights opened and closed the card and left fans wanting more. And both had surprising endings to violent and chaotic contests that left the fans stunned and cheering wildly. Intergender wrestling needs to be normalized, not just in the indie wrestling scene, but for the mainstream wrestling audience. It is an untapped market for amazing matches and compelling stories like these 4 competitors proved. Shout out to ICW No Holds Barred, Danny D'Amato, The Struggles, everyone there, and all the competitors for laying their bodies on the line for our mere entertainment dollar. It does not get remarked upon nearly enough, but thank you for all you guys do and all you continue to do. All these matches are available on IWTV right now. The links will be in the description. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe.